From hogging the ball and putting the Lakers at risk of not making it to the playoffs, to getting ridiculed by comedians on national television. This is why LeBron James is the most selfish player in the NBA. But what does it mean to be a selfish player? This is usually the guy who's always hogging the ball, the kind who gets possession and becomes glued to it. And LeBron wouldn't pass the ball to save his life. But here's the thing, selfishness goes beyond just ball hogging. It's about looking out for number one and leaving your team as well as fans high and dry. I'm talking about demanding trades or skipping town in the offseason without a second thought. Sure, free agency and trades are part of the game, but when you think about players who leave their cities high and dry in the offseason, this legend's name immediately springs to mind. Don't get me wrong, he's undoubtedly one of the greatest players the NBA has ever seen. But that doesn't necessarily make him the most likable guy on the court. Remember when he dropped a bombshell announcing that he was taking his talents to South Beach? Everyone knew he was going to abandon the Cavaliers and find a new team, but hearing those words was still disappointing. Fans had all sorts of theories about where he might end up. Some thought he'd join the New Jersey Nets because of his buddy Jay-Z's ownership. Others believed he'd head to the New York Knicks. But in the end, he chose to sign with Miami Heat. And this decision ended up in burned jerseys and a teardown of his posters, as his fans began to turn against him. He went from being the darling of the NBA to its ultimate villain. When he made the shocking announcement that he was leaving his hometown, it felt like a punch in the gut for Cleveland fans. They had pinned their hopes on him, believing he'd bring them long-awaited championship glory. But what did he do? He bolted for the sunny shores of Miami, joining forces with D-Wade and Bosh to form the infamous Big Three. Some argue that he had every right to chase success and create a dream team. They claim it was a strategic move, a chance for him to secure the championship ring he so desperately craved. But let's not forget the promises he made to Cleveland. He was supposed to be their hometown hero. So by abandoning them, he showed a lack of loyalty and simply let everyone know how selfish he could be. Needless to say, his decision divided the basketball community like never before. But was he a traitor or a visionary? Was he seeking personal glory or just making the best move for his career? The arguments still rage on. He's undeniably one of the greatest basketball players to ever grace the court. His skills are out of this world, and his impact on the game cannot be questioned. But is he too self-centered? Fans already know he loves hogging the ball and prioritizing his stats over team success. So it makes sense for people to argue that his brilliance sometimes comes at the cost of team cohesion and chemistry. Let's not forget the recent comparisons with Nikola Jokic. This guy had a phenomenal individual season, breaking records left and right. Let's get down to the burning question. Is he a selfish player? An NBA star who wishes to remain anonymous seems to think so. The source spilled the beans, revealing that the NBA icon was all about himself. He also happens to be one of the higher paid players, and believes it's time for LeBron to stop acting like everyone has a max deal. He pointed out the harsh reality that the salary cap is expected to drop significantly, and argued that it's time for the one percenters to start thinking about those at the bottom of the food chain. But let's make one thing clear, this player isn't dissing James's game. He just wants him to put others first instead of being his own biggest fan. The legendary player did lead the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals, but their journey was abruptly cut short when they were swept by the Denver Nuggets. Before that, the team had to fight their way through the play-in tournament, defeating the Timberwolves, Grizzlies, and Warriors to secure a spot in the postseason. Unfortunately, their dreams of reaching the NBA Finals fell short. In the aftermath of the season-ending Game 4 loss, James dropped a bombshell. He hinted at the possibility of retiring from basketball during the offseason. That's not the only decision weighing on his mind. There's also the matter of his foot injury, and whether he should opt for surgery or rely on natural remedies. Thankfully, Shams Charania from The Athletic provided an injury update and revealed that he's been playing through the foot issue for several months. The problem started towards the end of the regular season, and even through the injury, our boy soldiered on. He participated in the Lakers' last 8 games, securing their play-in spot and home court advantage. The initial injury was a torn tendon in his right foot, which happened during a game against the Dallas Mavericks, sidelining the player for a month. On his return, he sought advice from a specialist who recommended delaying surgery and assured him that his recovery was progressing exceptionally well. But it seems like the tear never fully healed, and he played through the pain for the final 25 games of the season. Whether surgery is unnecessary or not is uncertain. If he does opt for surgery, he'd face a 2-month rehabilitation period before being able to return to the court. Keep in mind that the 2023-24 NBA season is going to begin in October, and despite the injury, King James showed how resilient he is during the postseason, starting in all 16 playoff games and averaging 38.7 minutes per night. His performance was impressive, with an average of 24.5 points, 9.9 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.1 steals, and 1.1 blocks per game. Not only that, he showed amazing ball control, averaging just 2.5 turnovers per game, his lowest postseason average to date. So as he thinks about his future, the injury adds another layer of complexity to the decision-making process. It's a big moment for him as he weighs retirement and considers the best path forward in his illustrious 2-decade-long career. Hopefully, the coming months will reveal what lies ahead for this 4-time NBA champion, both in terms of his injury recovery and his basketball future. But let's talk about the Lakers and their disastrous season for now. It was supposed to be the year of redemption and bouncing back from disappointment. But what happened? Well, the big three, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, couldn't deliver. The Lakers fell short, missing the playoffs entirely. It's a bitter pill to swallow for a team with such star power. But here's the thing, James put up mind-blowing numbers. Over 30 points a game, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds. Those are MVP-worthy stats. And yet the team couldn't capitalize on his talent. It makes you wonder, what went wrong? Was it the lack of chemistry, or is there something more to it? Critics are pointing fingers at the Lakers' front office and their questionable roster moves. They let go of crucial defenders and shooters in exchange for veteran star power. Newsflash, that strategy backfired big time. It's like they were so desperate for a quick fix that they ignored the holes in the team, and now they're paying the price. The disappointment is so profound that even die-hard Michael Jordan fans are gloating. Take comedian Aries Spears, for example. He's a self-proclaimed Jordan fanatic, and he wasted no time rubbing salt in the wounds. According to Spears, this season seals the deal. The LeBron versus Jordan debate is officially over, and Jordan reigns supreme. But hold on, by no means does this mean that he's a bad player, because he survives under pressure. So don't be surprised if they stage a massive comeback next season. For all we know, the haters will probably have to eat their words. In the meantime, the debate rages on. Is LeBron selfish? Does he prioritize his stats over team success? It's a controversial topic, and opinions are divided. Some see him as a selfless leader who does whatever it takes to win. Others argue that he's more focused on personal glory than the greater good of the team. But honestly, the truth probably lies somewhere in between. Love him or hate him, there's no denying that he's a captivating figure in the world of basketball. So from his selfish plays giving the Jordan versus James debate a rest, to having a hard time passing the ball to his teammates, this is all about why LeBron James is the most selfish player in the NBA.